Hello YouTube, Josh running from Future-Morphs with clutch number 56, and it's quite a good one in genetics, but also a nice sort of test because we know a little bit more about Micro-Scaleless and how it all works. At least I'm not the first one making these pairings, of course, but at least there's not that much information out there. So the father is a Micro-Scaleless, so he's a combination of one microscale gene and one scaleless gene, and together he looks visually as Micro-Scaleless. He's also a snow het motley or striped. The female is an amelanistic tessera het microscale, so she is a pure het microscale, so no scalers involved or something. And she's also het annery. So we ended up with all amelanistics and snows, of course, because it's a snow to an amel het annery. For some reason all the babies are tessera, so maybe the mom is a super tessera, but I did not buy her as that, so it could be just luck, but in 10 babies I cannot complain. But yeah, mostly it's fun to see, and I will make this video a little longer when I show the babies as well, to show the difference between a visual Micro-Scaleless and a Microscale. And they are different, so I will show you. Also, if you see them on my morph list or anywhere else, I always sort of write down Micro-Scaleless if it's a combination of the two, and otherwise it just said Microscale in one word. But it's quite annoying because of course the names sound or look similar already, so the dash helps a little bit with that. And also what's quite annoying to me is some people call scaleless, they just write scales, so S-C-A-L-E-S or something, so they just forget the less. So I don't know where that comes from. Scaleless is the easiest word because it has no scales, scaleless. So yeah, please people write scaleless, because otherwise we have scales and Micro-Scaleless and Microscale, and it all looks more similar even. So that was me ranting for half a second or half a minute. Now let's go look at the babies. So this clutch was pretty male heavy, but well, this is the first male amelanistic tessera, het Microscale or het scaleless, because the father is the Microscaleless, so one of the two genes is passed on to the babies. The mother did not pass on her het Microscale, because then you would see it visually, of course. So this is a male amelanistic tessera het annery and het scaleless or Microscale. And this is male number one. There's also male number two. So basically he looks sort of similar. Well, the first one, of course, almost looks a little bit like a motley, but something completely else. Oh, just in time. Haha. I don't notice it really in this clutch, and it's also not really a proven thing or something, but sometimes if you have a het Microscale, I also talked with other people about it, they say like, yeah, it almost feels like they are a little bit rougher. So if the scales are a little different, but like I said, that's purely anecdotal, and yeah, don't quote me on that or something. Then we go to the Micro-Scaleless baby. So this is a, let's check, also a male. So Micro-Scaleless amelanistic tessera, and one of the key points, well, and this one, but it's different with the others, but this has just, yeah, it's almost literally a mix between some parts are scaleless and some parts are yeah, micro-scaled. But also the head, you can see it, basically the head in Micro-Scaleless is all the way scaleless. So there are no scales anywhere besides a piece of vermiculite on top of his head. But let's just say that's his little crown. But this one is pretty obvious, of course, also on the sides with, yeah, basically it's, yeah, half scaleless, half microscale. So that was a male. Then we also have this snow. They all look like they want to jump at me and fly out of the box. Well, I will hold it in my hand so that he can definitely not fall, but we can still show off his head. Well, let's start with his body. So look, he is also sort of half scaleless. And where's his head? There. Here as well, you can see the head is scaleless, and there at the cheeks the scales start. So this is a male Micro-Scaleless snow tessera. No, I knew it. Little a-holes. This is another male. Same again, scaleless head. Yeah, and the scales on the body are either like far apart and really tiny. And so this also Micro-Scaleless. That's male number two. And there's a snow female. That also looks like she wants to jump. Whoop. So, like I said, I'm making this video longer so you can just slowly see how they all look and what the differences are. So again, no scales on the head. Then, if I can get her back with one hand. No, don't make the video any longer than needed. It's always the females that are annoying. In snakes, I mean, of course, not in humans. Love you, Nicola. God damn it. Yeah, haha. Well, sorry for the delay. That's the downside of doing everything in one take and without camera, people. This is let's check, a male Microscale amelanistic tessera. And what you see on the head is not totally scaleless, because like above the eyes and in between the eyes and also towards the nostrils, you can see some scales. So that is clue number one. But also the rest of the body, the scales are tiny, as you can see, so they are micro-scale. But there's no scaleless parts in between or something. So this is a pure micro-scale. So if it actually, well, it sort of disproved it out again, but I said also Ian Bettis from Wire Forest Reptiles, in the UK, he also works a lot with Microscale. And Sander and Michelle from Sami Snakes also have basically the same conclusions. But it's, basically now I am almost 100% positive that scaleless and Microscale work basically as ultra mel. So also if you have one ultra baby or one ultra parent, I must say, and one amelanistic parent, then all the babies will be ultra mel, so an in-between form. And that's the same here. So if you have a pure Microscale like this one, also with some scales on the face and the tiny scales, and you pair this with a scaleless, you get an in-between form. And you can also breed it back out of each other again, sort of. So basically, just like if you breed an ultra mel to an amelanistic, half of the babies will be ultra mel, half will be amelanistic. And in the amelanistics, the ultra morph is just gone, basically. So with these Microscale babies that I'm showing you now, this is a female. So you can still produce Microscaleless out of them if you pair them with a scaleless, but you can never get pure scaleless out of one of these, because always these parents, if you would breed with these, one copy of the Microscale gene will always be passed on. And I hope it all makes sense. If not, go to my Patreon, patreon.com/FutureMorphs. The link is below. I have quite some genetic videos as well on there. I think, what is it, 7 or 8? So I explain simple recessive, dominant, co-dominant, but also like ultramel and stuff. So that are on the same allele. So if you want to learn more about genetics, then definitely check that out. So that was the subtle plug. This is the last baby from the clutch. This is a male Microscale snow tessera. Also again with some scales on the face, like at the nose, between the eyes, and also the all over body is like this, like micro-scaled. So I hope it was not too confusing with all the Microscale, Microscaleless, but well, I try to explain as best as I can, but hopefully this video actually gives some insight for people, to sort of know now how to breed scaleless and Microscaleless and Microscale. They are on the morph list.